Let's break that down in Scripture to see when the temple was destroyed. That was 70 AD. Jesus was speaking to the disciples privately in Matthew chapter 24, verses 1 and 2. And he told them, look out here at the horizon. I want you to understand that not one single stone will be left unturned here. Then he sat with them on the Mount of Olives, and they secretly asked him a question, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of the coming of the end of the world? And then Jesus answers them about the end of the world, the last 7 years first. When he's describing the end and the 7-year tribulations, he goes to Matthew 24:15 and says something very significant. He's actually quoting the prophet Daniel so they can get a strong grip to understand in the middle of this tribulation, when you see the abomination of desolation set up in the holy place after Israel is reborn, that's going to happen. And that's mentioned in verse 32, but he quotes Daniel here. And that particular quote tells us a precise day of Jesus' second coming. That's the question that he's answering right then. Daniel said, from the moment that you see the abomination of desolation standing in the holy place, it will be 1,290 days to the end. That's Jesus' second coming, bold, loud event. Not to be confused with the rapture that takes place, that nobody knows the day or the hour. So it's very common sense that you can see clearly two different events described here. So one event, 1,290 days after a specific event happens, Jesus' second coming happens. So people confuse second coming and rapture. Not the same event. And Jesus knew they would want to know that they had hope. So in verse 32, after he says the end comes, in verse 31, from one end of heaven to the other, the end is described there. He says, now learn the parable of the fig tree. Israel nation being reborn is the parable of the fig tree. And then it says that generation that sees that happen, that's the generation that will see this thing happen. And then he clearly says, nobody knows the day or the hour of this event. I'm going to come take my bride. It's going to be like the day Noah went into the ark. I put him into safety. It's going to be like the day Lot went out of Sodom and Gomorrah. I'm going to pull my people out. 2 men will be in the field. One's going to be taken. One's going to be left. So he describes 2 separate events. So we can clearly see this in Scripture because he's quoting Daniel about one event. Now he gives them another hope. I'm going to pull you up and out of here. That's why 1 Thessalonians 4:17 says, comfort one another with these words. Snatch up with precision into the clouds to meet him in the air.